Dear beloved viewers, imagine a moment when the stage lights are still shining brightly, the applause is still echoing, and then, an artist, an icon, suddenly departs forever right before our eyes. It's not just the loss of a person, but a heart-wrenching pain for millions of hearts that loved them. Life is as fragile as a thread, and these tragic stories make us choke up, with tears streaming down. Today, we look back at the great artists who sacrificed themselves on stage, where they lived fully with their passion, to remind us that art is not only light, but also the tears of destiny. Join me on this deeply emotional journey and feel their immortality through the legacies they left behind. Seeing the performers leaving us live in front of our eyes is an incident that leaves an everlasting impression on us. There have been many artists, musicians, and performers who died while they were performing or acting in front of their audiences or live cameras. Tommy Cooper. On April 15, 1984, while performing live on television, Cooper began his act in front of a packed audience and millions watching on TV. Suddenly, he clutched his chest and fell backward. Because of his reputation for mixing comedy with deliberate mistakes, the audience thought his collapse was part of the routine. They laughed and applauded, assuming Cooper was playing his usual role as the bumbling magician. However, behind the scenes, it quickly became clear that Cooper was in grave trouble. The show's host, Jimmy Tarbuck, and other performers scrambled to attend to him, yet the cameras remained on the stage for a few more moments, unaware of the severity of the situation. Cooper had suffered a massive heart attack on stage, and while the audience waited for the next part of the show, medics rushed to revive him behind the curtain. Tragically, he was pronounced dead shortly after being taken to a nearby hospital. Mitsuharu Misawa. On June 13, 2009, Mitsuharu Misawa, a celebrated Japanese professional wrestler, tragically lost his life during a live wrestling match in Hiroshima. Misawa was renowned for his intense, high-flying style and technical skill, qualities that made him a legend in Japanese wrestling. In the ring that night, Misawa was taking part in a tag team match when he was lifted for a suplex. In an instant, the atmosphere changed. Misawa collapsed in the ring, unresponsive. The move had resulted in a severe spinal cord injury, and it was clear to everyone in attendance that this was more than just an act. The live broadcast turned somber as officials, medical staff, and wrestlers rushed to his aid, performing CPR in the ring. Spectators, both in the arena and those watching on television, held their breath as medical personnel continued to administer emergency care. Despite immediate intervention, Misawa was quickly transported to a nearby hospital, where he was tragically pronounced dead. Steve Irwin. On September 4, 2006, Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, tragically passed away while filming Ocean's Deadliest, a documentary exploring the world's most dangerous marine animals. While snorkeling in the waters of the Great Barrier Reef, Irwin encountered an 8-foot stingray. As he swam closely behind the animal, which typically avoids human contact, the stingray suddenly whipped its tail upward in defense, striking Irwin with a powerful barb directly into his chest. The stingray's barb pierced Irwin's heart, causing a fatal injury. Although his crew immediately pulled him from the water and attempted CPR, their efforts were sadly unsuccessful. The incident was captured on film as cameras were rolling for the documentary, though the footage was never publicly released out of respect for his family and legacy. Irwin's sudden passing at the age of 44 shocked fans around the world, who knew him for his larger-than-life personality and unwavering commitment to wildlife conservation. Karl Wallenda. On March 22, 1978, Karl Wallenda, the legendary high-wire artist, met a tragic end while performing one of his most daring stunts: a tightrope walk between the towers of the Condado Plaza Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico. At 73 years old, Wallenda was still pushing the limits of his art, embodying the thrill and danger that had defined his career. Known for his incredible balance, skill, and fearless approach to high-wire acts, Wallenda had captivated audiences for decades with his breathtaking stunts. On that fateful day, Strong winds buffeted the wire as Walenda carefully made his way across. Suddenly, he lost his balance and tragically fell to his death. A moment captured on camera, though not broadcast live. The footage later circulated, bringing a somber reality to his legendary status. Walenda's passing marked a heartbreaking moment in the world of circus arts, as he had become a symbol of extraordinary bravery and dedication to his craft. His death underscored the immense risks he undertook in every performance and ended the career of a man who had lived his life on the edge. Valencia Prime, a 25-year-old transgender woman and prominent Philadelphia drag performer, tragically passed away on September 12, 2022, after collapsing on stage during a performance at Taboo Lounge and Sports Bar. Known as Philadelphia's plus-size dancing diva, Prime was hosting her live showcase, Prime Time, when she suddenly became unresponsive. Despite immediate medical attention, she was pronounced dead at Jefferson Hospital. The Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office later determined the cause of death to be atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, classifying it as natural causes. Prime's untimely passing sent shockwaves through the local LGBTQ+ community and beyond. Tributes poured in from friends, fellow performers, and fans who remembered her as a vibrant and positive force in the performance community. Taboo Lounge expressed their sorrow, stating, "Today we mourn the loss of a very bright and rising star. We say goodbye to Valencia Prime, but we will not forget the light you brought to the stage." Pedro Henrique. On March 12, 2023, Pedro Henrique, a celebrated Brazilian guitarist known for his electrifying stage presence and exceptional skill, tragically passed away during a live performance at a music festival in São Paulo. Henrique, only 39 years old, was in the midst of an energetic set when he suddenly collapsed on stage, stunning the audience. Known for his work with prominent bands and a successful solo career, Henrique had built a reputation as one of Brazil's finest guitarists, captivating fans with his passionate, soulful playing. Emergency personnel rushed him to a nearby hospital, but he was sadly pronounced dead upon arrival. The cause was later determined to be a heart attack, a devastating shock to fans, friends, and fellow musicians who knew him for his dynamic performances and love for music. Juan Jumalan. On November 5, 2023, Filipino radio broadcaster Juan Johnny Walker Jumalan was tragically killed during a live broadcast. Juan Jumalan, a beloved personality known for his lighthearted broadcast on 94.7 Gold Mega Calamba FM, was not involved in controversial reporting. His program focused on spreading good vibes and jokes. The attack occurred early in the morning at Jumalan's home in Calamba, Misamis Occidental. Two men arrived under the pretense of making an announcement about lost belongings. One assailant held a staff member at gunpoint while the other entered the radio booth and shot Jumalan twice. The gunman then stole a necklace and fled with a third accomplice on a motorcycle. The entire incident was caught on a Facebook live stream and CCTV. Colonel Bruce Hampton. On May 1, 2017, Colonel Bruce Hampton, a revered musician and pioneer in the jam band scene, passed away during a live performance in Atlanta. The concert, a star-studded 70th birthday celebration, featured Hampton performing with notable musicians from his extensive career, including members of his bands the Hampton Grease Band and Aquarium Rescue Unit. During a high-energy jam session, Hampton collapsed on stage, seemingly resting his arm on a speaker. At first, both the audience and his fellow musicians thought it was part of his theatrical style, known for blending humor and unpredictable antics into his performances. However, as the moments passed, concern grew as it became apparent that Hampton was in serious distress. Medical personnel quickly arrived and rushed him to the hospital, where he was sadly pronounced dead later that evening. Hampton's passing marked a profound loss for the music world, especially within the jam band and improvisational music community.
You cannot roast a man like this. You roast people like Don Rickles because he's mean.
Dick Shawn, a well-known comedian and actor, died unexpectedly while performing on stage on April 17, 1987. Sean was performing a comedy routine at the University of California, San Diego, when he suddenly collapsed. At first, the audience thought it was part of the act, but it soon became clear that something was seriously wrong. Sean suffered a heart attack and was pronounced dead shortly after being rushed to the hospital. He was 63 years old. Sean was famous for his roles in films like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and The Producers. And his sudden death during a live performance was a shock to many.
Feel the rhythm. Let it lift you up.
Sib Hashian, renowned as the drummer for the iconic rock band Boston, tragically passed away on March 22, 2017, while performing on a cruise ship. Hashian, born on August 17, 1949, was 67 years old at the time of his death. He had been a key member of Boston, contributing to the band's signature sound with his powerful drumming on albums like their self-titled debut and Don't Look Back. On the day of his death, Hashian was performing aboard a Legends of Rock cruise, a themed cruise featuring classic rock acts. During the performance, Hashian suddenly collapsed on stage. The cruise ship was sailing off the coast of the United States, and despite immediate medical attention and attempts to revive him, he was pronounced dead. Reports indicated that Hashian had been battling kidney cancer in the months leading up to his death. This diagnosis, coupled with his passing while performing, was a significant blow to fans in the rock community. The incident occurred during a live performance on the cruise, but it remains unclear if the performance was being broadcast or recorded for public consumption at the time. And so, those tragic stories remain, etched deeply in our hearts, reminding us of the brevity of life and the eternal beauty of art. Each artist who departed is a star that has fallen, leaving an immense void, making us shed tears, grieving for the talents that will never return. But through that sorrow, we learn to cherish more what we have and honor those who lived fully for their passion. Thank you, dear viewers, for taking the time to watch this video, for sharing with me those tears and memories. If this video has brought you deep emotions, please like, subscribe, and share it widely with many more people so that these stories continue to spread, awakening hearts and reminding us of the value of life. See you in the next videos. Warm regards.